بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنام حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد
وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المنتجبين سيما بقية الله في الأرضين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين صلوات محمد. The scholars of Tashayyu and the scholars of Mahdawiyya, they speak on numerous different topics about Imam Sahib al-Zaman. Some of the topics, some of the topics which are spoken about are his personal life. Questions which are raised about our 12th Imam is the Imam, for example, does he have family? Does Imam Sahib al-Zaman, is he married? Is the Imam living in a certain area? Is it that the Imam has contact with certain people? These questions are always spoke about when it comes to the Mahdawiyya. And it is only the Shia group and the followers of Ahlul Bayt which are known as the followers of Tashayyu or the followers of Mahdawiyya. It is only the Shia who believe in the concept that the Imam, the 12th Imam, is alive with us today. All of the other groups and factions in Islam, they believe that the 12th Imam, he is not born yet and that he will be born. So we as the followers of Ahlul Bayt, we are the only group that believe the Imam is alive and is in occultation. Therefore we have many stories, we have many books written about our 12th Imam. One of the most famous of the books being Kamaluddin. Kamaluddin, written by one of our famous scholars, by Shaykh al-Saduq. This Shaykh al-Saduq was born because of the dua of the Imam. And therefore he was born and was ordered by the Imam to protect the lineage of the A'immah, to protect the concept of the ghaiba, the occultation. I want you to write this book, Kamaluddin. So Shaykh Saduq wrote this book, Kamaluddin, and he has numerous topics about the ghaiba, specifically revolving the occultation. But what is it that the Imam is doing in his day-to-day life? Is the Imam just in a house somewhere and he's just staying there and he's not around and he's not in our community? Therefore the scholars, they have spoken in depth about the topic of Al-Abdal. Al-Abdal, it literally means the changes or the substitutes. The word Abdal comes numerous times in our narrations. When we look at our narrations, there are many different meanings for the word Abdal. But the first question is, what is the meaning of Abdal? What is the word's root? What is the form of the word? The word abdal comes from the word badal. Badal means to change, or for something to be exchanged for something else. An example being, I have a car and the car tire is now flat. I get another car, remove the flat wheel and replace it for a new wheel. This is called badal, this is called abdal. This process of exchanging for something else. So our scholars have spoken about numerous meanings about abdal. The first meaning which has been spoken about the word abdal is that abdal refers to the ai''imah. Because we know we have 12 infallible imams. When one of the imams passes away, another one comes and replaces them. When Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, when he was appointed on the day of Ghadir, the Prophet had made it clear that there will be 12 imams, there will be 12 leaders. The first of them would be Amir al-Mu'mineen, the second of them would be Al-Hassan, then it would be Al-Hussain, and Al-Husain's 9 sons. The 9 sons being Imam al-Sajjad, Imam al-Baqir, and so on, all the way to the 12th imam. So even in this announcement of imamah and the 12 leaders, this was the concept of ibdal or abdal. That one imam comes, when one imam passes away, another one is sent and replaces that imam. So when Amir al-Mu'mineen passed away, he was replaced by Imam al-Hassan. When Imam al-Hassan passed away, Imam al-Hussain replaced him. And it goes all the way until the 12th imam. So this is the first concept of abdal. The second concept of abdal is the scholars. The scholars are also known as the abdal. How are the scholars referred to as the abdal? Because our ai''imah say that when a scholar passes away, there is a hole in the earth which cannot be filled. When any scholar or person of knowledge passes away, the heavens feel like there is a gap inside of them. The earth feels like there is a hole which is missing and that needs to be filled. How is it that hole is going to be filled? Is when another scholar comes and replaces him. So this is another concept of abdal in reference to the scholars. And Allah also speaks about this in Surah Al-Shams, where Allah says that those who killed the she-camel, the story of Salih and the she-camel, after they killed the she-camel, it is said that Salih alayhi salam, he went into ghaiba, he went into occultation. When he came out in front of the people, there were 3 groups of people that he came across. The first group of people were those who rejected him. Straight away they said, you are not Salih. Because Salih had been missing for all these years, he had gone into occultation, he had been hidden from the people, and therefore they said, you are not Salih. This was the first group that rejected the Prophet. The second group were those who accepted him straight away. They accepted him, they said, yes, you are Salih. You have the signs of the Prophet, you have the knowledge of the Prophet. These were people who accepted him. The third group of people were those who were confused. This third group of people said to Salih, if you are really a prophet of God, then give us signs and we will believe you. So certain signs were given to them and therefore they accepted that he was the Prophet Salih. So one of the companions asked the Imam about this story and he said, Ya ibn Rasulillah, were there not scholars present in the time of Salih? Because clearly there was a need in the time of Salih. Why? Because the people of Salih became confused. If there were scholars in the first place, they would have not been confused. There would have been no reason for them to be confused. So the Imam said, yes, there were scholars. There were certain people that Salih alayhi salam had appointed. So this is the story of Salih alayhi salam. In the time of Salih, there were scholars that were appointed by him so they could guide the people in the ghaibah. And similarly, today we have the same thing. We know within our narrations that our 12th Imam, when he gave his letter to his final representative, he said that I will be going into occultation for a few days and you will die. In a few days you will die. So the people who are appointed are the scholars. The hujjah on the earth will be the scholars. Refer back to the ulama and the people of knowledge. Therefore this is the second group of abdal. The first group of abdal were the ai''imah themselves. One imam comes and replaces the other. The second type is the ulama, the scholars. One scholar dies, another one is replaced and put in his place. Again, in our narrations, we see that Abdal is also referred to as a certain day. There is a certain day that will come known by Yawmul Abdal, the day of change. What is this Yawmul Abdal? It is said that after the 12th Imam reappears, when the Sufyani also reappears, he will have his army. And the 12th Imam will also have his army. And it is said on that day, on Yawmul Abdal, the people from the Sufyani, they will change and they will go to the army of the 12th Imam. This is Abdal. They change, they replace themselves from one faction to another. So the people from the Sufyani, they will join the Imam side. And the people from the Imam side, they will leave him and they will go to the Sufyani. So this is known as Yawmul Abdal. So in our narration, in our books of Hadith, we see that numerous times this word Abdal, it shows up in our narration. So there are many other meanings for the word Abdal, but these are the three main meanings about the word Abdal. The first is the scholars, the first is the Aimah, the second is the scholars, and the third is the Yawmul Abdal. So Abdal is just the process of changing and substituting something else in exchange for another thing. And therefore we see that there is another meaning for Abdal, where Imam Jafar al-Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi,
Takbir, Nalai Risalat, Nalai Haidri, Nalai Salwat.
he says that there will be a group of people known as the Abdal. These groups of people, what is their role? What is it that they are tasked to do? It said that each Imam, they have 30 groups, 30 people in their group, known as the Abdal. But specifically is referred to our 12th Imam. When the 12th Imam is in the occultation, when he is in the Ghaiba, there are 30 people which are in close connection to the Imam. There are 30 people which are regularly discussing with the Imam. They see the Imam on a daily basis. The Imam gives them certain tasks and certain things to do. So these are the 30 people. And when one of those 30 people die, Allah, the Imam, appoints another person, and that person is replaced for the one who passed away. So this is the main meaning of Abdal in reference to our 12th Imam. Another question which arises is, why is it that the Imam is given such a long life? Why is it that the Imam he reappears tomorrow? What is stopping him from reappearing next week or tomorrow in a few hours? What's stopping the Imam from doing so? We know that our Imams have given certain signs. There are certain signs that need to be fulfilled for the Imam to reappear. And the majority of those signs we see today. One of the main signs is that we see injustice in the world. We see genocide. People who are innocent are being killed. This is one of the signs of the reappearance of the 12th Imam. Does the Imam have anybody that supports him in the Ghaiba? One of the people being is the Abdal. These 30 individuals who are appointed by the Imam, they also aid the Imam. It is also said that the Prophet Khidr alayhi salam, he was given a very lengthy life. The reason why he was given a long life is because he can aid the Imam in the Ghaiba. So it is not as that the Imam is by himself and he has no connection with the people. There are many stories where we see that people have seen the Imam. They have seen the Imam in person, they discuss with the Imam. Famously, our scholars, there are many scholars of ours that would discuss and meet the Imam on a regular basis. They would see the Imam, they would converse with him, they would ask him for advice. What is it that we can do in our daily life? And this is how we know that certain things which are recommended for us were taught by the Imam. And hence why the scholars would always say that for the hastening of the reappearance of Imam Sahib al-Zaman, we should recite Dua Ahad, Dua Faraj, and pray for the reappearance of the Imam. Another thing we should do for the Imam is that we should gift something to the Imam. Maybe we recite Quran, Jawat Ashura, and gift it to the Imam. Because the Imam is not just waiting for Allah's order to reappear. The reason why the Imam has not reappeared yet is because of us. It's because of sinners like you and me. Our sins stop the reappearance of the Imam. So these 30, going back to the Abdal, these people of Abdal are not just regular human beings. They are not infallible. They are not appointed as ma'sumin by Allah. They are people who have high taqwa. They are God-fearing people. They are not people who would go out in the open and sin, or they would talk bad about others. This is how the Abdal are chosen. There is a famous story where one of the scholars, he narrates the story in the Hawza of Najaf. And this story is narrated by a Syed Nasrullah al-Mustambil, who was a scholar of the Hawza of Najaf. And he narrates the story. He said that when we were in the Hawza, when we were in the madrasa, in the university, there was a caretaker by the name of Zair Ja'far. This caretaker, what was his role? What was his job? He would wash the clothes of the student, wash the bathrooms, and he would look after the students if they needed help in their accommodation, in their place where they lived. This caretaker would look after them. And sometimes what happened is that because of the way he dressed, he would not dress in very expensive clothing. He would not dress in very rich manner or somebody of high status. He would dress himself as a poor person. So this Sayyid Mustambil, he says that we used to make fun of him. Sometimes this happens. We see somebody who is not up to standards. He's not wearing the best of clothes. He's not wearing those clothes which are supposed to be worn, therefore they make fun of them. So this Sayyid Mustambil said that there were people and there were students around who would mock this caretaker. And I didn't think anything of it. They are mocking him, and I didn't stop them because it was just, this is in our nature. So this Sayyid Mustambil, one day he said that when I went to the washroom, I was going to the washroom, this was around midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. He was going to the washroom, and right next to the washroom there is the room of the caretaker. The room of the caretaker is next to the washroom. Why is it next to the washroom? Because his job is to do with the washroom, cleaning the clothes, looking after the students. Therefore, when Sayyid Mustambil, when he says, when I was going to the washroom, I saw the caretaker's room. And inside the room, I saw that the room was filled with light. The room was lit up. And I could hear that he was having a conversation with somebody. He was talking to somebody. There was somebody else in that room. And therefore, Sayyid Mustambil was curious. He said, I was very curious. I wanted to find out who was in this room. This caretaker doesn't have any friends. He comes from outside of Najaf. He doesn't have any friends. He doesn't have anybody to talk to. Who could be in this room? Therefore, he knocks on the door. He says, I knocked on the door, and the caretaker was very hesitant to open the door. He didn't want to open the door. Until he decided, I will open the door and answer his question. The scholar says that I asked him, who are you talking to in the room? Who was it that you are discussing with? The caretaker said, I'm not talking to anybody. There's no one in this room. You can look around, there's no one here. He then says, no, I know there's somebody in the room. I heard somebody speaking, and I saw that there was a light in this room. He said, no, I promise you there's nobody in this room. Then he said that I took an oath from certain people. I swear on this person I won't tell anyone if you tell me who's in that room. He took an oath. The caretaker then said, because you have taken an oath, I will tell you. The person I was conversing with was Imam Sahib Zaman. So this caretaker says that in that room with me was Imam Sahib Zaman. That was the light that you saw, and the person I was talking to was the Imam of our time. Therefore we see that it could be anybody from the Abdal. From these 30 individuals, it could be anybody. Anybody from our community can be from the Abdal. Our neighbor can be one of the Abdal. Our friends can be one of the Abdal. So the moral of this story is that we should not mock anybody, because we don't know, they can have connection with the Imam. They can converse with the Imam. They can regularly discuss with the Imam and what's happening in their life. Then the scholar says that I will not tell anybody. Then the caretaker says to him, now that you know this, the first condition is that you cannot tell anybody. You cannot tell anybody that I converse with the Imam and that I am given tasks and duties by the Imam. You can't tell anybody this. This is the first condition. The second condition was that now that you know that I have connection with the Imam, you have to continue to treat me the same way. How was he treating him before? He would mock him, make fun of him because of the clothes that he has. But now that he knows that the Imam speaks to him and the Imam discusses with him, he can't bring himself to make fun of him anymore. So when Sayyid al-Mustambat's friends would see that this caretaker is still continuously being made fun of, the scholar becomes upset. He said, this person is always talking to the Imam and they're making fun of him. I can't say anything. This was the second condition. So a few months and a few weeks went by where this caretaker went back to the scholar. And he said to the scholar that from tomorrow you will not see me anymore. You will not see me in the hawza, and you will not see me looking after the students, and you will never see me ever again. The scholar then says, why is it that we will not see you again? The caretaker then says that the Imam has appointed me as one of the abdal, one of the members and the close associates of the Imam has passed away. One of those 30 people, they have passed away, and the Imam has appointed me to replace him. And therefore from tomorrow you will not see me anymore. So therefore the scholar, the next day he looked for him and he could not find him, and nobody spoke about the caretaker ever again. Nobody brought up his name, nobody said, where's this caretaker, where did he go? Nobody spoke about him ever again. So these abdal, moral is number one, that anybody can be from the abdal. Whether it's our people from our community, it could be our family members, it could be our friends, our neighbors. And you don't have to be necessarily somebody who is infallible. You can't be an infallible to be from the abdal. The abdal are people who have taqwa, they are God-fearing, they are obliged to do things which are from the Imam. So the first role is that when the Imam tells them to do something, they do it. And these abdal are given certain tasks which they fulfill. Now someone might ask the question, what's the benefit of discussing this abdal? I'm not from the abdal, so why is it benefiting me? There is a narration from Imam Ali ibn Musa salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, where he had a companion by the name of Zakaria bin Adam. This Zakaria bin Adam, he is buried in a graveyard by the name of Shaykhan. Those of you who have been to Qom, there is a graveyard next to the shrine of Sayyidina Ma'asuma alayhi salam. It is called the Shaykhan graveyard. And in this graveyard there is famous companions who are buried there, scholars who are buried there. And one of the companions buried there is Zakaria bin Adam. This Zakaria bin Adam, he was a direct companion and an appointed companion by Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rida. He was one of his companions and he was appointed by him. So this Zakaria bin Adam, he said to the Imam, Salawatu Muhammad wa alihi
Nalai Takbir, Nalai Risalat, Nalai Hadri, Nalai Salawat.
This Zakaria bin Adam was one of the close companions of our 8th Imam. One day he speaks and converses with the 8th Imam and he says, Ya Abul Hasan, the people that I'm living with are very foolish. I cannot live with these people. My family members, they are irreligious, they don't pray, they don't do anything, they're lazy, they're this. I can't live with these people. Therefore he said to the Imam, I want to live somewhere else. Send me to another area where it would be better for me to live. The Imam then answers to Zakaria bin Adam and he said, you have to stay in Qom. The reason why you have to stay in Qom is because of two reasons. The first reason is that just like the people of Baghdad and those who live next to my father, and those who are regularly visiting my father and they are in the proximity of his grave, these people are protected from the adab. These people are protected from punishment. And you, Zakaria bin Adam, you must stay in Qum, because you are the appointed leader from the Imam's side in Qum. You have been appointed by the Imam. Therefore, because of your taqwa and your God-fearingness, you protect the people around you from punishment. So the first moral is that anybody can be from the Abdal. So those from the Abdal, when they live amongst us, they protect us from punishment. They protect us from the wrath of Allah. So he gave the example of the people of Baghdad. And he said, because you are an appointed figure from the Imam, and because you are God-fearing, you have to stay in Qum, because your family benefit from this. Your family, they benefit from you being a close associate of the Imam. So therefore, anybody in our community, whether it's our neighbor and friends, it could be anybody from the Abdal. Anybody here can be from the Abdal. And therefore, because they are appointed by the Imam, the people around them are protected from punishment. They are protected from the wrath of Allah, and Allah showers barakah and blessings upon them. So this is the first reason for the benefit of the Abdal. The second reason is that the reason why these Abdal, one of their main roles is because they support the Imam, so the Imam does not feel lonely. Because almost, how long has it been? Almost 1200 years where the Imam has been in the ghaibah. Salawatu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Another loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So the second benefit of these Abdal and these associates of the Imam is they make the Imam feel less lonely. Because 1200 years is a very long time. But these Abdal, they are not infallibles. They don't have very long lifespans. They live until 70, 80, 90, 100, and then they pass away and then they are replaced. So this is the second role of the Abdal, where these Abdal, they help the Imam in loneliness. So the Imam does not feel lonely. So these associates of the Imam, they help the Imam, they help us in our day-to-day life, they benefit us. And also they benefit the Imam so they don't make him feel lonely. Another question is that if this ghaibah is so long, why is this ghaibah so long? Why is it being so prolonged? It is because we have not understood the concept of ghaibah. There are two types that the scholars have given. There are two types of ghaibah. The first ghaibah being ghaibatul shakhs. The second type of ghaibah is ghaibatul anwan, the ghaibah of the occultation of title and the occultation of the person. An example being, let's say there is a majlis today, and one of your friends tell you that there is a famous politician, a famous figure, he's going to come to the majlis. He comes to the majlis. After the majlis is finished, you say to your friends, I didn't see this famous political figure. This is called ghaibatul anwan. This famous political figure, he was there. He was present among the people, but you did not see him. Why? Because you did not understand his title and why he's famous in the first place. Because when this famous figure came, he did not have a protocol, he did not have security, he didn't have an entourage with him, there were not people trying to protect him, he just came by himself. Therefore you did not see him. This is ghaibatul anwan. And this is the same for the Imam of our time. The Imam of our time is present amongst us. There is narration where it says that when the Imam reappears, the people will say that we have seen you before. But because of our veil which covers our eyes, we were not able to recognize you. Because of our sin and our low iman, we were not able to see you. So this is ghaibatul anwan, where you are not aware and you are not understanding of the title of this person. So you say to your friend, where is this famous politician? The friend says that he was sat literally in front of you. Did you not see him? He said, no, I didn't see him. This is ghaybatul unwan. The second of the type of occultation is ghaybatul shakhs. This ghaybatul shakhs is where the person is not literally present. He's not physically there. If we use the story of the analogy of the political figure. This political figure, he was not there physically. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This famous political figure, he was not present. He was at home or he was somewhere else. He was not at the masjid. This is ghaybatul shakhs, where the person is not physically present. So for the Imam alayhi salam, it is not ghaybatul shakhs. The Imam is present amongst us. One of the examples that used to be given is that the sun is in the sky, is always present. But because when the clouds cover the sun, we cannot see it anymore. But we are still benefiting from the sun in some way. This is another question that is given from the people. How is it that we benefit from the 12th Imam? How is it that we benefit from him when we cannot see him? It's because of those people who are appointed by the Imam, this Abdal, they benefit us in some way. The Abdal, and Allah brings blessings and barakah to us because of these Abdal. So this is the reason why the Abdal have been chosen. Because the Abdal, number one, they are those who guide the community. Because these Abdal, when they are given certain tasks, they are told to go to this community, to go to these people, to speak with these people, discuss with these people. So the Abdal bring benefit. But the key point of these Abdal is that these Abdal are not infallible. These chosen people are not ma'sumeen. They are not people who are infallible and they never commit sins. They are people of taqwa. They are people who are God-fearing. They are people that they are not chosen regularly by the people. They are not ordained. Just you and me will become the Abdal. Another reason for why we should look into this Abdal, there are two more reasons why the Abdal have been discussed. The first type is that what we see from now day-to-day life is that people tend to live a very average life. Average 9 to 5, mediocre, and they die like this. They work for their entire life until they're 60 and then they retire. They have no goal in their life. They have no ambition to be the highest of people. We want to be very successful. We want to make a lot of money. We want to put an impact in the community. They just live an average life. So for us Shia and followers of Ahlul Bayt, one of our goals should be that we should be amongst this Abdal. We should be amongst those who are chosen by the Imam. Isn't it a goal of ours to be appointed by the Imam, to see the Imam of our time, and that the Imam is pleased with us? This is one of our goals. So this is another reason for the Abdal, is that so we have a goal, and we can look up to this goal, and we can have in our minds that we would like to see the Imam of our time before we pass away. Hence why we read all these dua in the first place. Dua Imam Zaman, Dua Faraj, Dua Ahad. We read all these so we can see the Imam of our time, so we can witness him. And therefore we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He makes us steadfast amongst the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt. Because of wilayah of Ahlul Bayt, we know about the 12th Imam. Because of the narrations of the Ahlul Bayt, we know about these Abdal and these people that are close with the Imam. So therefore we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He makes us from the Abdal. He gives us taqwa and He makes us God-fearing, and He makes us of people who are of benefit to the community. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He accepts our majlis in remembrance of Abu Abdullah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the reappearance of Yusuf al-Zahran of Imam Sahib al-Dar. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وصل اللهم على محمد وآل محمد.